Welcome back to the Confident Chick podcast with me, your host, Naya Lene. Okay, girls, so for this episode, we're going to do a series and we're going to step into this episode. This episode is for a very particular woman. I am speaking to the women who have an idea, they have a passion that keeps them up at night. This is for the girls who have been dreaming about doing something in particular, but maybe you told somebody and they shut it down. Or maybe you've even been too scared to tell somebody. Maybe it has been just you in your head with this idea and you are trying to push that thing out your head because you're like, I'm not even good enough, or who do I think I am to do this, or I don't have the experience. And so you've wanted to do it, and maybe you have ignored the pull to do it for the last few years, maybe even longer, maybe a few decades. This is for you. Today, we're going to get into strategy. And this particular episode is going to start to be the kickstart for a series called the Confident Theory. Now, I do have some of those already on my page in video form under Confidence Series playlist, but I want to bring it to the podcast because there's some things and there are some strategies that I have learned the hard way that I have learned along the way through my journey of being new to entrepreneurship. And a lot of the times, I don't know about you, but a lot of the times when those who step into entrepreneurship, it's not because they necessarily always were like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, right? A lot of times it just comes out of the necessity to fix something of our own. And so once we do that, we end up doing it for others, which actually leads me into step one, which is called You Are Someone's Answer. So the idea that you have is not random, especially if it persists. If you have an idea or you have something that you're really good at, that you do enjoy doing, or that just comes so naturally to you, that is typically defined as a talent. A talent, some people think that it's singing or dancing, but no, girl. I mean, that is a talent, but that's not where it ends with what a talent is. I give you some backstory. So a talent back in the ancient days, like ancient Roman and Hebrew days, currency was called a talent. So you would trade with somebody with something called a talent, and that was the currency that you used. And it was worth, if you had a talent, let alone more than one, that was very valuable back in the ancient days. And so it is no wonder why talent still has such value today. I just recently listened to somebody who talked about different types of currency. Money is not the only type of currency that you have. If you have a lack of money, you do have some other things, some other currencies that you can trade. You can trade your time, that's a currency, or you can trade your talent, which is a currency, and that currency can get you the money and get you the other things. But let me go back to that first step. When I say that you are someone's answer, maybe you've been doing something by trade, your skill set for a long time, and so it just comes so easy to you. And honestly, that's sometimes why we overlook our talents, because they are the thing that is just so easy for us to do that oftentimes we don't see it as valuable. But if it's valuable for you, and if it's helped you, or if it comes so easy for you to do, it's honestly something to help someone else too. Have you ever had any type of problem? I don't know, some type of problem with something, and you found some type of company that was the solution to that problem, right? Okay, they're using their skill set or their talents to help you solve a problem. So therefore, yours is as well. I'm going to give you some examples. Let's say that you are somebody who is really good at budgeting. You are the budgeter for your family household. You did it out of necessity. You have a set amount of money coming in from you and your husband, or maybe you're a single mom, and you're like, hey, I get X amount of money. I got to make this thing stretch to the next paycheck or else we don't eat, right? And so you put together a budget, and this budget, you've worked it out to the T to where this is enough money to pay for my child, this and that, and for me, right? Well, guess what? A whole lot of other people struggle with making a budget. There are a lot of people who need to be and who need to live on a budget that don't know how to do it. And because of it, their financial life is suffering because they're getting the money and they don't know how to use it. You know, there's also this thing, I forgot where I heard it, but do you know, like, think about our generation. A lot of people in our generation, like millennials and stuff, like a lot of millennials make six figures. They work like corporate jobs and stuff, and a lot of them it's hard to make six figures today as it was for like our parents' generation, right? Here it is. Our generation can make six figures, but do you know they're still living paycheck to paycheck? They still don't know. They're still in one door, out the other. The money's not lasting them. Why? Because they need a budget. And you're sitting there and you know how to make a budget like the back of your hand because you had to learn how to do it. Do you know that that's a talent, honey? Do you know that you can sell that to somebody? You can easily make a budget planner. Those are so popular right now. You can get your butt on Canva and you can put in some pretty little colors or not, and you can set out on a template the way that you do your budget for you and your family month to month, and how you make the money stretch and what you do with that money. You can package that in a Canva template and sell it and make money off of that. There's a story somewhere in the Bible where this woman, her husband passed and she has her sons. She just has her sons, her husband has passed, and she didn't think that she had anything left. So when this man came to her house, he was like, can you get me something to drink? And she was like, listen, I ain't got it. I'm about to cook up this one last meal for me and my sons, and I'm just going to go die. Literally, that's what she said. She was like, I'm going to go die. Last meal, peace out. And he was like, well, what's in your house? And all she said she had was like these jars, and he was like, well, go take the jars and go throughout the city and ask the people in the city if they have oil. And what she did was she took the jars she had, she went to her neighbors in the city, and they filled up the jars with the oils, one by one, until she had more than she could count. She went home with so many jars of oil, and what she could do with that oil, obviously, was sell it. Olive oil was a hot commodity. We still use oil today, but especially back then. So now she had something to go sell. The moral of that story is that she had the jars for what she needed in her home the entire time. Many of us have jars in our house that we can flip to a bag. Many of us have talents and skills or trades that we can use. And when she went out to her neighbors to fill it up, that's AKA she was going out in the marketplace. Because see, the thing that you're good at, that gift, that talent that maybe you push it aside and say that it's not a gift or talent, that very thing is a void in the market. When I say market, I just mean the places that we go by, our economy. What you're good at that you brush off like it's nothing, someone else needs it. It's a void for someone else. And if you would take what you had in your house and go and take that and go use it out there for them, you wouldn't have to worry about eating. Yeah, you wouldn't have to worry about eating. So that is our step one. You are someone's answer. Another example is, let's say that you're a mom that just loves to cook, or you need to cook out of necessity for your kids, and you have learned to do it. You've learned to make like quick on-the-go meals because you work, you're busy, and y'all don't have time. Sis, do you know that you can just have your kid put the phone on a little tripod while you're making the food? You don't even really have to be in the camera like that. And record how you do those meals real quick. put that joint on Instagram as a reel and begin to show people cooking for the busy mom. You can make an e-cookbook. You can honestly get on Canva and type up these recipes. First do the videos to begin to call out to the busy mom so she could begin to see the videos. You don't even really have to be in the video. Put the camera down at the food. Make the food, have your kid edit the video, or you can go on Instagram and learn how to, or go on YouTube and learn how to edit a short. Make it like a 30-second, 60-second clip and post those a few times. Make a little posting schedule that you do. You can literally post that stuff, and actually brands will actually come to you because they look for that type of thing. And even if you don't want that, you could still make an e-cookbook and get it out to these busy moms. Cooking meals for the busy mom. Okay, that's another idea. Another one is for those of you who work in corporate, right? Let's say that you have been working for many years in nonprofit. So if you work in the nonprofit sector for many years, then you have a very valuable skill set. And that is, you know how to get the free coin. You know how to get that government money to fund a business. Do you know how many people are now stepping into small business ownership or entrepreneurship for the first time? And let's just say you just happen to be a woman of color. Okay, so a woman of color who knows how to get the government bag to help fund small startup businesses. That is a whole course that you can go and teach to somebody. You can simply begin to make it for free by putting it on Instagram again, just showing them different ways. How about this? You don't even have to put your face in this one either. You can literally have like some aesthetic background. You know, like the little aesthetic videos, y'all, that we be seeing on TikTok and stuff. An aesthetic background that you can get off Pinterest and just type the words on the screen. How to get funding to start your business. Free money for your business. And put the resources and how they can get it so that you can turn around and help somebody else. And then you get paid off of that day, because then when you get the courage, you can go ahead and make a little quick e-course for it. Girl, there's so many ways to use our skill sets. And here is the action tip for step 1. And that is write it down and make it plain. We have to take those ideas that have been permeating in our head, and we have to take that passion that we've been holding on to, and we have to commit it to paper. Here is why. If you let it stay in here, it's going to eat you up. And also, it can't serve you any type of good if it's just left in your head. You need to write it down. You need to put some pen and paper to it, or get on your laptop and you need to type it out so that you can begin to systematically walk through the steps how you will do it. You have to write it down or else it won't happen. Now let's move right along to step 2, which is discover your secret sauce. When I say your secret sauce, I mean, you know how you go to the grocery store and the aisle of chips have so many different chips to choose from, and we get what we like, and what we like we chose for a very specific reason. Maybe that's just your flavor, right, that you love. Like, I love me a good salt and vinegar chip. Maybe you do too. Or maybe you like a different type of chip. But the reason you chose that chip in the aisle over the other chips was because of the flavor, right? It is the same with you. You have a unique sauce, a unique flavor that's going to attract the people that need what you have, your talents. And also you want to do that. Although, sometimes they say that the market is saturated. And I personally have an opinion about that. I feel like this. It doesn't have any more money for the same thing. See, it has room, not for the same thing, but there can be a whole lot of people. Let me use hair, for instance. Well, as we know, no matter where you live, you could probably find a hairstylist every other mile down the road. But what makes some people go to this hairstylist over that one? Or what makes somebody be extremely loyal to this hairstylist and they don't change their hairstylist for years? That's because that stylist has a special sauce that differentiates them. And you do have it. And this is called your niche. You have to have your niche in the marketplace to stand out. But you don't have to overthink it because you already have it. Sometimes we already have our stuff, but we don't realize that that's unique. You do hair, but you don't do all hair, right? And you don't want to. Let's say that you love color, right? And so you love to take your clients' natural hair and it is like so important to you to color the hair, but do it in a way that's healthy. And you know how to color their hair that would in a way that would still help them to keep their natural curl pattern if they are a woman of color with curly hair. And so you are a color queen, that is your specialty. Well, see, sis, that is your signature. You want to lean into that. And in fact, honestly, it's easier to have a signature and lean into that and kind of cut off all the rest of the different types of hair. That way you attract what it is that you want. When we lean into what we like in the market and what we're really good at, and we're like, oh, I really enjoy doing color. That's great. Because now you don't have to waste your time doing all the other hair stuff that you don't want to do. You can focus on being a colorist. So when somebody wants color and they're following you or they heard of you or they know of you, they're going to come to you for color. Step 3 is called you are not everybody's type. Just like we have a signature to what we do and how we use our gifts, guess what? It's not going to serve everybody. And that's okay. Because in this market, there are so many people, but we cannot serve everybody, nor were we created to serve everybody, so we could chill off that. You can serve the people that you love to serve. In fact, you only should, with the thing that you're good at, the way that you're good at it, with your secret sauce for their specific problem. If somebody wanted to start some skincare, let's say that you had acne, and you like to make your own, you couldn't find it in the store. Your skin was too sensitive. They didn't have what you need in the store. You went to the dermatologist, or maybe you didn't go to the dermatologist. Maybe you couldn't even afford to go to the dermatologist. And so you began to concoct your own formulas and your own like natural products. And you put it on your skin and it began to work. And your acne began to go away. And so you begin to maybe try that on some friends and family, and it worked for them too. Well, guess what? That's very specific. So you can lean into that because that's your audience. There is this book called This is Marketing. I suggest you guys maybe take a look at it, from Seth Godin. And he has this theory in the book called like the blue pool theory. He has this theory that if you drop blue dye into the ocean, it's going to disperse. No one's going to see it. No one's going to pay attention to it because it's the ocean. But if you drop blue dye into a small pool, you're going to see it. And if anything, it's going to spread and it's going to grow until the entire pool is full of that dye with just a little dot. That's the same thing with using your talent with your audience. Your sauce and your vibe is going to attract your trunk, and you want it to. You want to target the pool, not the ocean. And so this is why going out and finding your community is going to be helpful. And the tip I have for that is think about your tribe. Think about your idea and what problems your idea solves. Whatever it is, whatever that thing that you have in your head to do that has helped you in any type of way, you can speak to your audience about that. Think about the pain points that you had of why you even thought of the idea. And think about, okay, who else would have this problem? Write down all the pain points that your idea solves. All the pain points that it hits. Your acne, you didn't feel confident. With the acne, your skin it was painful almost to you. It left scars on your skin, right? Nobody wants that. So that's a pain point. I promise you that somebody is willing to pay a pretty penny for a pain point to be solved, especially if it is affecting their everyday life. So you want to begin to write down those pain points, and then you want to begin to Test your idea out on your friends and family and on some coworkers that maybe you're cool with. Test it out because this way you can begin to get feedback in real time from them and you can begin to see who your tribe is going to be. And tip 4 is to package what you know. Package what you know. So many of us are literally sitting on gold mines and don't even know it. What you know is literally gold. Sis, I'm going to give a few examples of how you can package up what you know. Let's say that you're a corporate woman and you work in tech. Well, sis, don't you know that so many people are trying to break into the tech industry? Everybody knows that tech is not going to go anywhere. It's the future. It will be here to stay. And yes, they are having layoffs right now, but the skill set of tech is so key. That's why we see, y'all, that's why we see Google doing all these certifications. You know how you could just get a Google certificate? You don't have to go to school anymore for it. You can get a Google certification somewhere in the tech industry. And when you're applying for jobs, that because, obviously Google is an authority in the technology space. So you go to that interview with that certification, you're going to stand out. Well, if you already work in tech right now, or you have worked in tech in the past, do you know how many people are ready for that skill and will be willing to pay you for it? And let's say that what you do for trade is you do admin work. And let's say that organizing and helping companies systematically put their things together, helping companies be organized, that is something you're extremely good at. It actually comes to you like the back of your hand. You've done it for years, blah, blah, blah. Girl, people need help doing that too. Do you know that you can take that same skill set of that knowledge, because having a business, you have to have the systems. You can take what you're good at in admin, administration work, and organizing. And girl, you could be a virtual assistant on the side, honey. You don't have to be bothered in person with nobody if you don't want to. And you can use that skill set to virtually assist somebody. And people are willing to pay some good dollars for some virtual assistants because so many businesses need it. You can specialize and you can say, hey, I only want to help small women-owned businesses. I want to be a VA for them. Okay, so do it. Let's say that you don't find who you do it for. Well, guess what? You can easily put that service on Fiverr. You can say that, hey, I have X amount of years of business administration. I know what I'm doing with this. Show them some of your accolades. And somebody across the world will hire you to be a virtual assistant. You could do it on the side, girl, get you some extra coins. Packaging your skill set for income. And lastly, we have step 5, which is building a value bundle. So now that you have worked through the steps, you know that you have a gift, you know that you have a talent, you've written down ideas, you are discovering who's it for. Last step, you are beginning to package it in a bundle. What you offer, think about what can complement that offer. Let me give you an example. When you go to any fast food restaurant, let's say McDonald's, you go to McDonald's, you get you a little burger. Do you ever just get the burger? No, you get the burger, you get the fries, and you get the drink, right? That's called a value offer. That's a upcharge. And so they knew that you were coming for burgers, but most of us want fries with our burger. And you had to go eat all that food and not drink to wash it down. So that's them giving you a obvious offer that would complement what you came there for. You can do that too with the talents that you already have. I'll give you an example for step 5 of someone I actually know. So she is this woman who struggled to get pregnant. She wanted a baby, and I think that the doctor told her that she couldn't do it, and she struggled with fertility. Well, she began to do research and find out the dietary things that needed to be done to heighten your chances of pregnancy. She found out the truth behind birth control and how we don't actually even have to take birth control. You just avoid having sex during your ovulation period. She found like little tips and hacks like that. Long story short, today she not only has one child, but she has 2. And she helps to teach other women how to get pregnant. So the value offer that she has is that the products that she used to help her to be healthy to have a baby, she recommends those to people, so she gets paid for that. That's one ad. And then the next level of value, she also, I think she has some type of ebook possibly too. So that's another thing. You can write them like a planner. How about an ovulation planner? You can do that, right? Because again, you can only get pregnant during ovulation anyway. So to help women maybe go on Canva and make a little ovulation tracker. That's another point of value. That's an upcharge. That's like the fries to the burger. And then one of her highest offers is that she does fertility coaching, where she talks to them via Zoom and she walks them through the process of just figuring out their fertility and helping them get pregnant. And she does that like a hands-on course, hands-on program, so where she coaches them through. So those are 3 different tiers or levels of value that she offers her people who just struggle with the same thing that she once struggled with. And now that she overcame it, she uses that to help other women. And so that's how you can build a bundle. Not only that, not only are you offering more value to the people that you care about who have the same issue, but that's also a way to get more money, because if you can help somebody at this layer, think about how you can help them at the next level and the next level. So the action step for this one is find things that can complement what you're already good at. And the way you want to ask yourself the question is, okay, if I offer somebody XYZ, what else would complement that offer that I could also offer to them? And you could just brainstorm a bunch of things, you guys. It doesn't have to be hard. All right, so that concludes today's episode. Ladies, I hope it was helpful to you. Just a quick recap. Our 5 steps are: step 1, you are someone's answer. The action step with that is to write it down. Girl, we have to get those ideas out of our head and get them on paper. Step 2 is discover your secret sauce. You are unique and you have a signature. Your action step is going to be to brainstorm what your sauce is going to be. Step 3 is, girl, you're not everybody's type, and that is okay. The action step for that is to think about your tribe and your audience and identify their pain points. Step 4 is package what you know. The action step is to start thinking of the ways that you can package your knowledge, because you have a wealth of knowledge, sis. And step 5 is to build a value bundle. You're going to begin to explore the things that complement what your idea is, because if you can offer value at level 1, you can continue to offer your audience more and more value to come. Please be sure to comment, subscribe, like, and I'll see you in the next one.